welcome Jehian Panangian Sijabat.
Welcome to my TED Talk. Oke, minta perhatiannya sebentar dan perhatikan gambar di depan ini ya. Mas satu ini di depan. Oke, I'm gonna give you 15 seconds to think about one word and analyze, oke? Jadi jangan langsung spontan. Analyze the picture here dan pikirkan apa yang sedang terjadi di layar ini, oke? Oke, I'm gonna give you time. Oh.
Welcome to my Tech Talk session. I'd like to ask for your attention for a moment. Please focus your gaze on the picture of man displayed on the screen. I will give you 15 seconds to come up with a single word. Please take your time and don't rush to answer. Observe the image carefully, take a moment to analyze it and think about what you believe is happening. So you might start now.
Alright, aku anggap kalian udah berpikir apa yang sebenarnya terjadi di gambar yang ada di belakang layar kalian ini. Dan aku akan coba untuk mengutarakan beberapa frase yang kalau misalnya itu ternyata adalah sesuatu yang ada di pikiran kalian, kalian bisa ngomong yes dalam hati. Oke? Jadi kalau dilihat-lihat, ini bapak satu ini lagi foto di sebuah tempat yang cukup signature di kampusnya. Terus dia lagi pegang balon, artinya dia lagi celebrating something. Dilihat dari outfitnya, dia juga pakai selempang, dan dia bawa balon bertuliskan ST. Jika teman-teman semua memperhatikan,
I'm guessing you've all been trying to figure out what's happening in the image on the screen. I'll mention a few phrases, and if they happen to match what's on your mind, you can mentally say yes. Got it? Look at a picture. This man is taking a photo at what seems to be a landmark spot at his university. He is holding a balloon, indicating he is celebrating something. From his outfit, you can see he is wearing a sash across his body and carrying a balloon with ST written on it.
semua memperhatikan dan menganalisis, maka teman-teman semua mungkin menduga bahwa this person is an engineering guy yang baru lulus sesuatu, entah dia sidang atau dia baru dapat jadwal wisuda dan lain-lain. And yes, this is Jehian dari tahun 2014 ke tahun 2018. Jehian Panangian Sijabat, sarjana teknik Dirgantara. So I begin my campus year di ITB sebagai anak dari sebuah jurusan yang cukup prestigious, dan pada saat aku masuk, aku jadi salah satu murid baru yang sangat semangat menjalaninya. Namanya adalah teknik Dirgantara, atau pada zaman aku dulu sebutannya aeronautika dan astronautika, sesuatu yang susah. Nah,
if you observe the picture closely, you might have had the impression that this man was studying engineering. Perhaps you thought he had just passed a thesis defense, received his graduation schedule, or something like that. And yes, the picture shows Jehian Panangian Sijabat when he was still studying aerospace engineering between 2014 and 2018. I pursued my studies at Bandung Institute of Technology in one of the most prestigious major. At the beginning of my academic journey, I was a highly motivated new student who pursued aerospace engineering, which was formerly called aeronautics and astronautics. This major has a reputation for being intellectually demanding and quite difficult.
But if you look at the next picture, this is me now. Technically not now, karena masih ada kumisnya. Yang di depan kalian udah gak ada kumisnya. Oke, so this is me and my talents. Mereka adalah content creators yang namanya udah aku tulis di sana. Ada Karin, ada Hansol, Akuya, Ada adikku sendiri, my own brother, namanya Jerome, ada Tomo, ada Tura, and so on and so on. Pikirkan kembali satu hal ketika kalian melihat gambar di sini dan bandingkan dengan Jae-hyun di gambar sebelumnya. Maka mungkin yang ada di pikiran kalian ketika kalian melihat gambar ini adalah salah satu dari kata-kata di sini. Jae-hyun Panangian sejabat, si paling salah jurusan. Dari anak sarjana teknik dirgantara, tiba-tiba melipir dan bekerja di bidang yang sangat tidak nyambung dengan jurusannya, yaitu jadi manajer content creator. Dan istilah-istilah yang ada di layar kalian. Nah,
let's look at the next image, which show me now when I still had a mistake. In this picture, I am with my talents who are content creators. They are Karin, Hansol, Takuya, and my own brother, Jerome, and among others. Now, think again about what comes to mind when you see this image and compare it with Jae-hyun in the previous picture. Perhaps what you are thinking when you see this image is one of the phrases on the screen. Jae-hyun Panangian sejabat, the ultimate wrong major guy. From an aerospace engineering graduate to suddenly veering off and working in the field completely unrelated to his degree, and he becoming a content creator, manager, and other terms displayed on the screen.
Nah, kalau misalnya kita perhatikan, kenapa bisa ada this kind of disparity antara Jae-hyun di gambar yang pertama dan Jae-hyun di gambar yang kedua? For example, Jae-hyun di gambar pertama, Jae-hyun yang sedang pakai toga, sedang melihat masa depannya di bidang yang ia pilih ketika ia masuk ke kampus yang dia pilih pada awalnya. Dan Jae-hyun di samping, Jae-hyun sedang bersantai bersama dengan talent yang dia manage di pekerjaan dia yang sekarang. Apa satu hal yang menjadi benang merah dari gambar di kiri dan gambar di kanan? Dan tadi aku sudah sebut adalah dua kata yang sangat umum terjadi di Indonesia yang dinamakan dengan salah jurusan. Teman-teman semua udah tahu. So if you're talking,
if we examine both pictures, what creates such a notable distinction between Jae-hyun as portrayed in the first picture compared to the second one? In the first picture, we see Jae-hyun wear a graduation gown, who is envisioning his future in the field he selected when he entering university. Meanwhile, the second one shows him looking quite different. He relaxed with the talent he managed as part of his current profession. What's the underlying connection between these two pictures? The answer comes into two words that quite familiar, particularly for Indonesian university students. That is wrong major or wrong field of study. I'm sure most of us have heard this term before.
so if you're talking about jurusan dalam bahasa Inggris kita namakan dengan major. So I was invited here to talk about major and stuff. And gimana caranya kita bisa overcome ketika kita merasakan bahwa kita kayaknya not meant to be for this major. Sekarang I wanna do a little survey buat teman-teman semua di sini yang ada di bangku kuliah. Tolong angkat tangan. Bangku kuliah, oke, nice. Oke. Nggak boleh cheating ya, nggak boleh ada yang noleh ke kiri dan kanan. Buat teman-teman semua yang merasa sudah berada di jurusan yang tepat dan sangat ingin bekerja di jurusan tersebut, silakan turunkan tangannya. Oke, semuanya sekarang boleh turun tangan.
In English, we call jurusan a major. By the way, I was invited here to talk about major and stock, and how to overcome the feeling that we might not be the right person for a particular field of study or major. Now, I would like to conduct a quick survey. Everyone who is still in college, please raise your hand No cheating, don't look left or right. Now, those of you who feel you are in right major and really want to work in that field, please lower your hand. Well, everyone can put their hands down now.
Menurut survei teman-teman semua, lebih dari 80% mahasiswa di Indonesia mengalami namanya salah jurusan. Dan bahkan di tempat ini aja, aku bisa melihatnya. Bahwa ada teman-teman semua di sini yang masih belum yakin apakah akan bekerja di jurusan atau bekerja di bidang yang sesuai dengan jurusan yang kalian tekuni sekarang. Dan hal ini akan jadi topik bahasan in my TED Talk. We're going to talk about academic major. Nah, what is academic major, teman-teman semua? Kalau kita ambil terjemahan dari Google atau kita ambil terjemahan dari website atau US ChatGPT, maka kamu akan menemukan jawaban-jawaban seperti ini. Panjang sekali, bukan? An advanced academic major is the academic discipline dan lain-lain. Kalian belajar ini, kalian belajar A, kalian belajar B. Kalian masuk jurusan A di kampus B. Kalian masuk pilihan di sini, kalian disuruh orang tua kalian untuk masuk ke jurusan tersebut. That's academic major.
Based on survey findings, over 80% of students in Indonesia find themselves in the wrong academic major. As a matter of fact, I'm certain that many of you here are still asking yourself, am I going to work in a profession that aligns with what I'm studying now? Okay, this question forms the core of what I'll be discussing in my TED Talk today. So we are going to talk about academic majors. What exactly is an academic major anyway? If we search for its definition on Google, various websites, or even using ChatGPT, we would come across quite comprehensive explanation. For example, academic major is the academic discipline and so on. In a sense, an academic major refers to the field of study you select and pursue during your time at university. You might study subject A, subject B. You enroll in a specific major at a particular university. It's either because it's something you genuinely want or because it's what your parents encouraged you to pick. That's what we mean when we talk about the academic major.
Tapi teman-teman semua, dengan menggunakan definisi academic major sebagai sesuatu yang kita pilih untuk akhirnya kita mendediksikan hidup kita ke arah sana, sepertinya tidak tepat. Bisa dilihat dari teman-teman semua tadi yang masih mengangkat tangan, karena masih ternyata walaupun sudah ada di stage ini, udah masuk dalam bangku kuliah, tapi kita masih tidak yakin apa kita tetap akan bekerja di bidang tersebut. Nah, that's why now I want to introduce to you a new concept atau sesuatu yang aku pegang sendiri untuk mendefinisikan apa sebenarnya jurusan atau tempat kalian belajar sekarang.
Defining an academic major as a lifelong commitment may not be entirely accurate. This becomes evident when we see that many of you raise your hand earlier that indicate uncertainty about your future direction. For the reason, I would like to introduce a concept that I personally adhere to. The reality is that even at this stage, when you have already entered higher education, many students are still unsure whether they will pursue a career that aligns with their current field of study. Therefore, I would like to offer a more thoughtful interpretation of what your academic major or your current field of study actually represents.
See it this way. So school system is a commitment-based time investment. Jadi bukan lagi tentang jurusan A, bukan lagi tentang jurusan B, tapi investasi waktu kalian. Mungkin buat teman-teman semua di sini, gak cuma investasi waktu, bisa jadi investasi fokus. Atau misalnya investasi uang. Atau investasi uang, investasi finansial, uang dan uang. You know, you get what I mean. Jadi school system atau education system yang kalian masukkan ketika kalian ada di bangku kuliah sekarang adalah sebuah investasi. Apapun investasi itu, apakah orang tua kalian yang menginvestasikan uang mereka, atau kalian menginvestasikan waktu dan tenaga kalian dan fokus kalian untuk menjalani sesuatu for the greater good. Nah,
Okay, see it this way. Our education system fundamentally represent commitment-based time investment. That's why it extends beyond studying major A or major B. It's more about how we allocate our time to invest. For all of you in this room today, what you are investing maybe is not just time. It may be also your focus, and yes, money or financial investment. I know you all understand exactly what I'm talking about. The education system, especially during your time at university, is fundamentally serve as investment, whether it's your parents financing your education or you yourself investing time, energy, and focus.
Nah, yang membedakan itu dengan kalian tidak masuk dalam sebuah school system adalah bahwa kita diintroduce to a unique academic ecosystem. Aku garis bawahi di bagian uniknya, karena school system mempunyai satu ciri khas yang tidak dimiliki oleh ekosistem pendidikan lainnya. Misalnya ekosistem pendidikan non-formal yang tidak menggunakan jalur-jalur sekolah atau akademia. Misalnya belajar secara otodidak di Google atau belajar secara apa. Walaupun sebenarnya kita belajar di tempat-tempat yang terkesan non-formal, itu pun mempunyai unique academic ecosystem sendiri. Nah, kalau kita deep down atau kita deep dive ke dalam unique academic ecosystem, maka kita bisa menemukan bahwa unique academic ecosystem itu terdiri dari beberapa hal seperti satu, the major atau jurusan yang memang kalian ambil. Oke, benar. Misalnya kalian memilih jurusan teknik mesin, kalian memilih jurusan ekonomi, kalian memilih jurusan akuntansi, kesehatan, dan lain-lain. Tapi selain hal itu, ada hal-hal lain juga yang dipertimbangkan dalam sebuah unique academic ecosystem. Hal-hal seperti, contohnya, hubungan antara kalian dan guru kalian, atau jaringan dosen atau jaringan teknik tenaga didik yang sedang mengajar kalian di sana, atau misalnya kampus kalian belajar dengan segala macam fasilitasnya, besar gedungnya, dengan segala macam kenikmatan yang kalian bisa dapatkan dengan cara kalian masuk dalam situ, dan juga hubungan yang kalian bangun bersama teman-teman kalian. So a unique academic.
Friends, what sets this apart from those who are not part of an educational ecosystem is the fact that we are introduced to what is called an academic ecosystem. I want to emphasize its unique nature because the school system has certain characteristics that are not found in other types of education ecosystem, including informal ones that don't follow traditional academic pathways, such as learning independently through platforms like Google. As a matter of fact, even these seemingly informal learning environments can still have their own unique academic ecosystem. If we take a deeper look into what makes an academic ecosystem unique, we will find that it consists of several key elements. First, of course, is your chosen major, for example, mechanical engineering, economics, accounting, health science, and so on. But beyond your field of study, there are other important components that must also be considered. These include your relationship with your lecturer, the network of teaching staff supporting your learning, the campus environment itself with its various facilities and infrastructure, and the overall learning experience you gain through these resources. Additionally, your connections and friendship with fellow students also play a vital role in shaping this academic ecosystem.
So, a unique academic ecosystem itu adalah gabungan dari semua hal ini. Bukan hanya berbicara tentang major yang kita ambil. Apakah kita masuk teknik mesin ini, mengerjakan SKS A, B, C, dan lain-lain. Dan yang membuat ini spesial adalah apa yang kita lakukan atau apa yang kita pilih itu akan mendetermine apa perbedaan kalian dengan orang yang ada di bangku sebelah kalian. Ketika kita masuk ke dalam bangku kuliah, kita dan orang di sebelah kita mengikuti kegiatan orientasi yang sama. Kita mengerjakan tugas yang sama, kita mengerjakan ujian yang sama, kita mungkin mengambil mata kuliah yang sama juga, dan kita ada di kampus yang sama pastinya. Tapi apa yang membedakan kita dan orang di sebelah kita ketika kita lulus, the output, the difference in the output adalah bagaimana kita memilih untuk melakukan 3 hal yang ada di belakang, selain dari jurusan yang kita ambil. Bagaimana kita berkomunikasi dengan guru kita, bagaimana kita membangun relasi dengan teman-teman kita, bagaimana kita memaksimalkan fasilitas yang dihadirkan dalam ekosistem pendidikan tersebut, dimanapun kita belajar. Alright.
Basically, the unique academic ecosystem is the combination of all these aspects. It's not just about the major you choose or the certain number of credit hours you need to complete. Well, what makes it special is that every decision you make and every step you take inside this academic ecosystem will create differences between you and the people around you. When you are in a college, you and your friends sitting next to you might go through the same orientation program, complete the same assignment, take the same exams, and even enroll in the same classes at the same university, of course. However, the real difference becomes apparent after graduation. It's reflected in the outcomes or output we produce. The difference stems from how we manage 3 key areas beyond just our academic major. The first one is how we build communication with our lecturers. The second one is how we expand our connection with fellow students. And the last one is how we fully utilize the facilities and resources within our educational system, our educational ecosystem.
Alright. So, kalau di webinar atau seminar yang biasanya aku akan pakai hal ini langsung di skip aja. Jadi aku akan mulai di sini, di situ, lanjut terus. But for now, aku akan menjelaskan secara detail sebenarnya apa yang sebenarnya aku lakukan ketika aku berada di dalam posisi merasa salah jurusan dan akhirnya bisa sampai di posisi sekarang. Ketika aku ada di bangku kuliah di semester 3, aku mendapatkan satu quotes yang aku pakai sampai sekarang, dan ini aku akan coba untuk breakdown untuk teman-teman semua. So this is a quote from Francis of Assisi yang bunyinya adalah start by doing what's necessary, then do what's possible, and suddenly you're doing the impossible. Kita akan tarik 3 hal dari quotes tersebut, yaitu 3 hal yang necessary, possible, and impossible. Apa yang dimaksud dengan necessary, dan how can I do the possible, dan kenapa aku harus melakukan hal yang impossible di dalam kita menjalani kehidupan di ekosistem pendidikan tersebut, khususnya ketika kita merasa salah jurusan. Oke. 3 hal yang ada di layar kalian. Oke.
In a regular seminar, I would skip this part, but today I would like to explain in detail what I actually did when I found myself feeling like I was in the wrong major, and how I eventually arrived at where I am now. Back in my 3rd semester of college, I came across a quote that I still hold on to this day. I would like to break it down for all of you here. The quote is from Francis of Assisi, and it says, "Start by doing what is necessary, then do what is possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible." I'll take these 3 key. I will take 3 key ideas from this quote. They are necessary, possible, and impossible. What does it mean to do what is necessary? how do we begin doing what is possible, and why should we even attempt the impossible, especially in the context of navigating our educational journey, particularly when we feel like we've chosen the wrong major.
Oke, 3 hal yang ada di layar kalian. Jadi ketika aku mulai masuk ke dalam pendidikanku dulu di Teknik Dirgantara di ITB, aku menyadari bahwa Teknik Dirgantara adalah jurusan yang sangat linear. Linear yang dimaksud adalah ketika kita masuk ke Teknik Dirgantara ITB, kita akan diperhadapkan dengan pilihan bahwa kita harus bekerja di lingkungan Dirgantara. Jadi linear ya, kamu kerja entah di bandara, atau kamu kerja mungkin di pabrik pesawat, dan lain-lain. Tapi di tahun kedua aku kuliah, aku merasakan the enlightening experience of a startup world in Indonesia, di mana aku merasakannya bahwa waktu aku masih ospek di tingkat 1, kalau kita pergi ke kampus kita harus naik angkot atau kita harus naik bemo gitu. Jadi kita udah hafalin nih, oh kalau yang ke ITB dari kosan aku kita harus ambil yang warna ini dan kita harus ngambil jam segini, kalau enggak nanti akan penuh atau orangnya belum datang. Nah, kalau misalnya kita bangun telat sedikit, maka kita harus pergi ke pangkalan ojek dan kita harus bertanya, kita harus langsung ngobrol sama abang ojeknya kayak, ini harganya berapa buat ke ITB? Oh 10.000, aduh kemahalan, boleh 5.000 aja gak? Yaudah berangkat. Nah,
Alright, there are 3 points displayed on the screen that you need to pay attention to. When I began my studies in aerospace engineering at Bandung Institute of Technology, I immediately noticed that how linear the career path was. What I mean by linear was that the career path was quite clear. After graduation, we were expected to work in the aerospace industry, whether at airport, aircraft manufacturer, or other related sectors. Unfortunately, during my second year, I had an experience that completely shifted my perspective on the startup world in Indonesia. In fact, I had already started to feel this shift during my first year, back when I was still going through orientation. Well, for example, to get to the campus, we had to take a public transportation like angkot or bemo, something like that. We had to memorize the specific routes, identify the correct angkot color, and carefully plan our departure times. Otherwise, we might find them full or the driver had not come yet. Whenever I woke up late, I had no choice but to head the motorcycle taxi stand and haggle over the fare. I had to quickly adapt the situation. For example, how much to ITB? 10,000. That's a bit much. How about 5,000? Alright, hop on.
Nah, tapi ketika aku masuk di tahun kedua, aku ngelihat adik-adik kelas aku tidak mengalami kesulitan yang sama. Tidak harus nunggu angkot untuk dapat transportasi ke kampus, tidak harus deal-dealan sama abang ojek, tapi mereka bisa datang ke kampus menggunakan aplikasi yang ada di HP mereka. Itu sesuatu yang benar-benar enlightening banget buat aku. Pada saat tersebut, aku menyadari bahwa aku tidak bisa keluar dari ekosistem pendidikan tersebut karena sudah ada investasi yang dilakukan dalam bentuk finansial dan waktu. Maka hal yang aku pilih adalah dengan masuk ke dalam ekosistem startup tersebut dengan menjadi driver ojek online atau driver ojol, ada di sebelah kiri. Ketika kita berhadapan dengan sebuah problem, kita tuh punya sebuah pemikiran bahwa ini ada 2 sisi yang harus kita lakukan. Ada sesuatu yang sifatnya necessary, ada sesuatu yang sifatnya possible. Pada saat aku ngerasa aku pengen masuk dalam dunia startup, aku pengen tahu nih ojek online itu seperti apa, aku nggak bisa just say to my parents kayak, ayo aku mau drop out aja dari pendidikan aku sekarang di Teknik Dirgantara, abis itu aku coba untuk masuk ke dalam sebuah jurusan yang lebih nyambung. Karena aku nggak bisa melakukan itu, aku mencoba untuk mencari option. Apa yang dimaksud dengan mencari option? Di sini aku melihat apa yang possible untuk aku lakukan. Yang possible untuk aku lakukan pada saat itu adalah dengan menjadi driver dari ojek online. Nah, itu tuh
When I entered my second year of college, I noticed that my juniors were not facing the same struggles I had. They didn't have to wait for public transportation to get to the campus or negotiate with motorcycle taxi drivers. They simply use apps on their phones to get to the class. That realization was truly eye-opening for me. At that moment, I understood that I could not just walk away from the education system I was already in because there had been a real investment both financially and in terms of time. So the choice I made was to step into the startup ecosystem by becoming an online motorcycle taxi driver. When we are faced with a challenge, we often see it from two angles. There is what we call necessary, and there is what we call possible. At the time, I felt drawn to the startup world. I wanted to experience what it was like to be part of that space. But I could not just say to my parents, I want to drop out of aerospace engineering and switch to something more relevant. Since that was not an option, I had to find one. And what did that mean? It meant looking for what was possible. And at that time, what was possible for me was to become a driver in the online ride hailing system.
Nah, itu tuh berlangsung terus. Jadi ketika aku udah merasakan gimana caranya jadi driver ojek online, akhirnya aku ngerasain, oh ternyata dunia startup tuh kayak gini. Akhirnya I'm trying to make my own startup, dalam tanda kutip. Tadi kalau gambar yang di tengah, itu adalah sebuah edutech yang coba aku bikin waktu aku kuliah bersama dengan adik aku untuk ngerasain sebenarnya gimana sih rasanya membuat produk, abis itu ngejual ke brand, abis itu gimana caranya kita ngobrol sama investor, trying to fundraise dan lain-lain. Dan akhirnya, eventually, kalau misalnya dilihat sekarang, I'm building my own brand, Mantap Corp dan Nanti. Nah, kalau kita lihat 3 fase tersebut, sebenarnya dalam setiap fase tersebut itu ada yang namanya possibility and impossibility. Ada 2 spektrum yang tadi di back ini ya. Aku bisa back sekali gak? Please. Nah, ini. So, possible and impossible. Jadi, kita kadang-kadang berpikir ketika kita berhadapkan dalam posisi kayak, oh aku salah jurusan, atau misalnya kayak, oh ternyata aku pengen ngelakuin suatu hal, tapi aku belum bisa nih sekarang. Kita kadang-kadang berpikir bahwa, oh that's something impossible, aku pengen belajar hal ini, itu impossible. Yang aku possible lakukan adalah, aku cuma bisa kayak gini sekarang, aku cuma bisa kayak gitu sekarang, aku cuma bisa kayak gini. Nah, kita
I kept doing that job. After experiencing life as an online motorcycle taxi driver, I began to explore the world of startups more deeply. That experience motivated me to build my own startup. What you are seeing on the screen is an education platform I built together with my younger brother when I was still in college. Through this project, I learned a great deal about the product development, brand building, negotiating with investor, securing funding, and much more. Building on that experience, I eventually launched my own brands, Mantapu Corp and Menanti. When we look back at these 3 phases, a common thread becomes clear. Every stage of life brings us face to face with 2 spectrums. They are possibility and impossibility. When we feel like we are in the wrong major or wish to explore something new, we often face the thought, I want to learn that, but it seems impossible. Eventually, we convince ourselves that just getting by in our current situation is all we can hope for.
Kita kadang-kadang ngelihat possible and impossible itu seperti sesuatu yang binary sistemnya. Jadi it's either on atau it's either off. It's either possible atau it's either atau itu impossible gitu. Padahal sebenarnya yang pengen aku sharing ke teman-teman semua di sini bahwa possibility and impossibility itu sifatnya berjalan dynamically sesuai dengan growth dari skill kamu. Nah, gimana maksudnya? Coba aku tunjukin dalam bentuk seperti ini ya teman-teman semua. Jadi we all start over there. Jadi kayak kita mulai dari sana, lalu eventually kita akan masuk ke sana, possible. Nah, ketika kita udah di perbatasan antara impossible dan possible, yang terjadi bukan kita hanya masuk ke impossible, tapi, kita akan memperbesar cakupan dari possibility kita. When we grow, our possibilities also grow. Tapi artinya apa? Karena possibility kita grow, Di sanalah juga impossibility kita juga bertumbuh. So does your spectrum of impossibility. Jadi teman-teman semua lihat ya, makin possible besar, maka impossible juga akan semakin besar. And it goes on, dengan pertumbuhan yang kita lakukan, it goes on and on. But
sometimes we tend to see possible and impossible as part of binary system, as if something is either on or off, either possible and impossible. But what I want to share with all of you today is this possibility and impossibility is dynamic. They shift as our skills grow. So let me explain what I mean. We all start at one we all start at one point, right? From that point, we move forward and eventually arrive at what is possible. When we reach the age between the possible and the impossible, we don't just cross into the impossible, but what actually happens is that we expand the range of what is impossible. As we grow, our possibilities grow too, and because our possibilities expand, so do our impossibilities. This is we call spectrum of possibility and impossibility. The more we grow, the broader both ends become. The greater the possible, the greater the impossible. And this cycle continues in step with how we grow and evolved.
But kita harus ingat bahwa we all start there. Kita semua mulai di sana. Ketika aku masih jadi ojek online, driver ojek online, aku startnya di sana. Nah, aku mulai di sini. Look at that. Terus ketika akhirnya aku lulus, mengerti skill about startup dan lain-lain, dan akhirnya bisa buat my own startup, buat my own brand, akhirnya aku ada di sini. Tapi ini adalah posisi yang very impossible saat aku ada di posisi itu. Oke, you get it now, right? Jadi kayak ketika aku ada di posisi ketika jadi driver ojek online, this is something very impossible for me. Tapi ketika itu goes on, itu jadi sesuatu yang possible, the impossibility spectrum naik juga. Tapi kita semua start di sana, teman-teman semua. Dan ini aku pengen coba untuk kita bisa self-aware terhadap diri kita to reach our possibility and impossibility. So please remember bahwa kita semua mulai dari sini, from this to this. Jadi kalau misalnya kita dipertanyakan terhadap sebuah pertanyaan bahwa apakah iya aku merasa salah jurusan, apakah sebenarnya aku sekarang ada di jurusan yang salah, maka ingat teman-teman semua bahwa jurusan adalah sebuah sistem. Kamu adalah sebuah input. Yang menentukan outputnya adalah sistem, oke, menentukan. Tapi variabel-variabel yang ada dalam input itu juga akan menentukan output seperti apa. Jadi apa yang akan membedakan kamu dengan orang-orang yang ada dalam jurusan yang sama seperti kamu, dan apa yang membedakan kamu dengan orang-orang yang lain juga yang merasa salah jurusan seperti kamu, adalah ketika kamu bisa ada di sasaran yang tepat. So teman-teman semua, expand your possibilities and achieve the impossible. Thank you.
Okay, no matter what happens, we have to remember that we all started from the same starting point. When I start out as an online motorcycle taxi driver, I was at that same starting point. But as time went by, I explored and learned about the world of startup, developed new skills, and ultimately succeed in building my own startup and brand. For your information, the position I have reached today once seems completely out of reach. You see what I mean, no? So back when I was still working as an online motorcycle taxi driver, even dreaming of reaching this point seems unimaginable. But over time, what once seemed impossible gradually unfolded into reality. Alright, all of us move along the spectrum of possibility and impossibility. That's why we need to cultivate self-awareness and understand the full of scope of our potential so that we unlock both possibilities and overcome what we once seems impossible. Well, everyone, let's collectively remember that our journey commences at this very point and continuously progress forward until reaching this point. Well, my friends, if you've ever asked yourself, did I choose the wrong major? So please keep this in mind. The major is only a component of the system and you are the input. In fact, it is not merely the system but the variables within the input that will ultimately determine the outcome we create. So the difference between you and others, whether they are in the same major or also maybe feel like they are in the wrong major, will be seen in your abilities to stay on the right path and achieve goals that align with your true purpose. Because we come to a close, everyone, so please expand your possibilities and achieve the impossible. Thank you.